Hello viewers, we have seen the basics of data interpretation in the previous class and we have also gone through few sums related to pie chart. Now today's class we are going to look at the graphs related to tables. So every data is given in terms of tables that we have previously seen in pie charts. So here data will be given in terms of tables. Now you have to interpret the data which are given in tables. Now let's look at the graph given. Now look at the given data. The data is completely given in terms of a table. Now look at the data, what it shows. The table shows the production of different type of cards in thousands. Everything in terms of thousands. So you don't need to worry about that 1000. Now look at here. A, B, C, D, E. There are 5 rows A, B, C, D, E. And years 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, it is given in terms of columns. If you ask me, 2012 type A cards produced. In 2012, there are 30 cards produced by type A. So here if I highlight here, these are 30 cards produced by type A in 2012. 42 cards produced by type B, 48 cards produced by type C, D 51 and E 20,000 cards produced in 2012. So this is how now you have to look at the data. See what it says. It's very simple in tabular graph to look at the data, but you have to be very careful when it comes to number of years. What is the ratio of the total production of cards of type A in 2014? In 2014 and type C in 2013. The total production, if you look at, it is actually how much? 48 plus 36 is 84. Taken together to the total production of cards of type B in 2016, type B is 56. 2015 type E cards taken together. So type E cards in 15. So you have to be very careful when you are dealing with them. So it's actually 91, 56 plus 35. When you take their ratio, 7 12s are 7 13s are. So the simplified ratio is 12:13. So the answer here is 12:13. Now see here, when I take the moment I look at 2014 type A cards and 2013 type C cards, I know the sum is 84. 84 factors are, you can say, 12 into 7. Therefore, in terms of ratios, definitely option 1 will not come. So you can eliminate option 1 and option 4. There is no possibility to get 11 and 10 in case of 84. So what is the possible number? 12 only. So your possible options are 2 and 3. In that way, you can actually eliminate the options also. Here the table again, the same table I have taken. The number of years in which the production of cards of type B is less than the average production of type D cards over the year. Type D cards over the year, find out the average production first. Now see here, it's 51, 24, 30, 46 and 54. If it comes to average production, take 40 as your assumption. If I take 40 as your assumption, it is 11 plus. This is 16 minus, this 10 minus, it is 6 plus, this is 14 plus. Now I would say this 10 and 11, there is only one left, 6 and 16 minus 10. Therefore, if I take 40, still you have 15 minus 10, that's plus 5, divided by 5. Therefore, 41 is the average production. So average production of type D cards over the year is actually 41 and number of years in which the production of cards of type B. So type B, if you look at how many number of years, it is actually less than 41. So here it is 42, no, 48, no, 40 it is less, 38 it is less. Therefore, in 2 years it is less than this one. So I would say the answer is 2 here. So here I am using the assumed average, or else you can do the sum also, it's up to you. If the data related to the production of cards of type E is represented by a pie chart, So type E, entire type E data is represented by pie chart. So this is overall type E. If I represent it by pie chart, then the central angle of sector representing the data of production of cards in 2013 will be what angle? So 2013 is what when comes to all of them. Now if you combine all of them, see here 2 plus the 5 plus 3, 2 plus 5 plus 3 is 10. Then after 20 plus 40, 60, 60 plus 40, 100, 100 plus 30 plus 40, 70. So 170. Total data is 180. There are 180,000 cards. This 180 actually represent 360 degrees when you actually represent it in pie chart. Now 2013 is only 42. Therefore 42,000. If 180 into 2 is 360, then 42 into 2 is 84 degrees. So it represents 84 degrees there. So answer is 84. Look at the next one. The total production of type B cards in 2012, 2014 and 2015 taken together. Type B in 2012, you have to be very careful when you are taking the data, 2012 and then after 2014, then after 2015. So here clearly 42 plus 38, you can say 80 plus 40 is 120. Taken together is approximately what percent more than? When I say percentage more, the meaning is what is the percentage increase. So what percent more than the total production of type A cards in 2013 and 2016? Type A cards in 13, it's 35. Type A cards in 16 is 56. Therefore, I can clearly say it is 35 plus 56 is 91. So 91, when compared to 91, 120 is how much more I am asking you. So actually it is how much more? It is actually 29 more when compared to 91. I just need to use percentage increase formula, right, to 100. Now I told you in terms of percentage, how do we do it? See, when you take 10% of your denominator, it is actually what? 91. 10% of 91 is 9.1. Therefore, I can say 30% gives you 27.3. 1% is 0.9. If I take 1%, it's actually 0.9. So 2% is 1.8. If you add 1.8, that is 2%. You are getting how much? 29.1. So therefore, I would say 32% gives you 29.1, but I just need 21. Therefore, it is little lesser than 32. So answer is your third option. It is little lesser than 32%. So by approximation, you can say that. The table shows the production of different type of cards by a company in thousands in 5 years. Again, it is another table. Now it shows for 5 years same thing, but here in rows 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, again cards by 5 companies A, B, C, D, E. So it is a typical tabular graph. The total production of type B cards in all 5 years. What percent more than the total production of type A, B and D in 2017? What percent more? First of all, total production of type B in all 5 years. Type B in all 5 years, just you need to do the sum here. Every data is very close to 45. So if I assume that it is 45, or else if you want to take a round figure, you can take 50 also. 50 means I am taking 5 50s, which is 250. Now look at the sum of deviations. I already mentioned the deviations there. Therefore, this is plus 4, minus 5, it's minus 3, that's 0. This one is minus 10. I would say minus 18 plus 4 is actually minus 14. Therefore, the entire data gives you 236. You can actually do the normal sum also, but if the numbers are too difficult, sometimes these numbers are easy, but sometimes the numbers may be irritative or else not so friendly. So in that case, what you can do, you can assume a number. So here I have assumed 50. I have taken 50 into 5, that is 250, and I have taken the deviations. I have done the sum of deviations, I got 14, therefore my sum is 236. This is the data, total data, which is nothing but total cards produced by type B in all the years, right. So, total number of cards of type B produced is 236. Is what percent more, which is nothing but percentage increase we have to find out. Then the total production of type A, B, D in 2017. In 2017, A is 43, B is 50, D is 67. Now, you can say 67 plus 43, 110, then this 50 is 160. Therefore, when you compare 160 and 236, you can cancel it in order to make it simple in 4 table. Therefore, it becomes 40. See, 4 5s are 4 9s are. Therefore, percentage increase or percentage more. How much more it is? 19 more upon 40 into 100. You can say 190 by 4, that is 47.5. If you know very well about fractions, by looking at 19 by 40, you can say 47.5, because we all know what is 1 by 40. 1 by 40 is actually 2.5%. In percentage, I told you this kind of basics. If you look at 20 by 40, it is 1 by 2, which is 50%. So, I would say it is just 1 lesser than 20. So, it is 19 by 40. If you subtract both of them, 50 minus 2.5, by looking at it, you can say 47.5. Same thing if I ask you what is 21 by 40, then you have to add both. Then you can say it is 52.5%. So, you have to work a little bit more on fraction. How do we convert fraction to percentage, so that in data interpretation it will be more and more easy for you to do it. Look at another question on the same graph. What is the ratio of the total production of type C cards in 2015 and type D cards in 2017 taken together to the total production of type B cards in 2016 and type A cards in 2017 taken together? So, he is asking you the ratio, total production of C in 2015. 2015 C is 53. Then after type D cards in 2017, type D in 2017 is actually 67 plus 53 is 120. The moment you look at 120, the only possible answers are second option and a fourth option, because you can't write 120 as a factor of 13 or else a multiple of 13 or multiple of 11. You can't write it because 13 is not a factor of 120, neither 11 is factor of 120. So, only options, possible answers are what? 2 and 4. So, even if you are rushing in your exam, you can, if you want to answer it, just answer it as 2 or 4. At least you will have 50% of chance of getting right answer. Now, taken together to the total production of type B cards in 2016. Now, type B in 16. So, look at 2016 and type B, it is 47, and type A cards in 2017. Type A in 2017 is 43. 47, 43 is actually 90. Look at the ratio. Cancel 0 and 0, you can cancel it in 3 table. Therefore, you can say it is 4:3. So, answer is 4:3 here. Very simple, but looking at the data at the given time is very, very important. The table shows the production of different type of cards by company. Again, it is the same thing. The average production of type D cards in 5 years is what percent less than the production of type E cards in 2018? Correct to 1 decimal place. You have to write it to 1 decimal place. So, see here, average production of D in all 5 years. So, D in all 5 years you have to take. Now, see here, this 8 plus 7, 15, 4 plus 6 is 10. Take out 25, then what do you get? You get 90, 50, 50, 100, 40, 60, 100, then 60, 260 plus 25 divided by 5, you do it. This will be 52 plus 5. on an average you are getting 57. This is one way of looking at it. And the other way of doing the average. What is the other way of doing the average? Take the approximation as 55. If I take the approximation as 55, here it is minus 9, minus 5, it's minus 1, 55 means it is 12, this is 13. Look at the deviations, minus 9, minus 5, minus 1, 12, 13. Look at the sum of deviations. From here to here it is minus 15, from here to here it is 25. Therefore, 55 plus 25 minus 15 gives you 10 divided by 5. It is 57. It's asking you the average production of type D in all 5 years is what percent less than the production of type E in 2018. E in 2018 is actually 70. Less means percentage decrease. So now percentage decrease if you wish to find, it's 13 less upon 70 into 100. Percentage less means percentage decrease. So 130 divided by 7. We can say 7 ones are, then 7 eights are 56, remaining is 4. Therefore, 4 by 7, which is approximately 0.6. Number which is very close to 18 is 18.6. So answer here is 18.6. Look at the next one. If the data related to the production of cards in 2018 is represented by a pie chart, again entire 18 is represented by pie chart, then the central angle of a sector representing the production of type C cards will be, type C is how much he is asking you, right. So look at this, 8 is 16, 16 plus 4 is 20. So keep this 20 aside, plus do all tens like 30 plus 40, 70 plus 50, 120, 130. 120 plus 130 is 250. So 250 plus 20 is 270. So central angle is 54 is what? 54 you have to represent. So 54, total value is 270. If you need to convert it into terms of degrees, multiply it with 360. Or else I would say in unitary method 270 represent 360 degrees. What is 54 represent? You just need to cross multiply, you will get the same here. So we can cancel 93s are 94s are 3 1s are 3 18s are 18 4s are 72 degrees. If you know calculations well, 54 5s are what? 270. Therefore, you can say it is 1/5 of 360, that is 72 degrees. So far we have seen table graphs. So it's mostly percentage increase, questions on percentage decrease, or else questions on average. So questions on ratios. So here, in order to get perfection in table graph, all you have to do is you should know how do we calculate percentage increase and decrease, and should be good at doing additions and finding percentages and as well as ratios. That's all will help you in your tabular graph. Now when we come to line graphs and table graphs is also similar, but the representation is in lines. That's the only thing. So there we have represented in terms of tables. Here we are going to represent everything in terms of lines, but the way we look at the data bit varies. So let's look at the data which is given in line graphs. See the graph here, a motorist and a scooterist. So motorist and a scooterist, if you observe the graph, the scooterist is a perfect line and the motorist is given as little bit with the points. Motorist and scooterist made a journey of 120 kilometers at the same time from the same place. They are starting it from the same place and the same time. The graph shows the progress of the journey made by each person. Study the graph and answer the questions. Now see, both of them actually started at 9 AM and one fellow ending at 10:30, another ending at 11:30, and both of them made how much? 120 kilometers. Now see, at what time did the motorist meet the scooterist? So we can see this perfect line is scooterist. This pointed line is actually motorist. Both of them are meeting at this particular point. So at what time both of them are meeting? Both of them are meeting at 10:30. So 10:30 both of them are meeting. Actually here motorist takes how much time? In order to travel 120, somewhere in between 10:30 to 11. And scooterist take how much time? In order to travel 120, he is taking 11:30. 9 to 11:30 means he is taking 2.5 hours. But the question asked is at what time they are meeting. So simply the answer is 10:30 they are meeting. What was the speed of the scooterist during the journey? Now he is asking you the speed of the scooterist. What do you mean by speed? Speed is nothing but distance travelled by time taken. Now what is the distance travelled by both of them? Clearly it is given that 120 kilometers travelled by both of them. So first when it comes to speed, we write the formula distance. Distance covered by time taken. The distance covered by both of them is 120, but particularly scooterist is asking you, so 120. And scooterist took how much time? It's 2.5 hours time. 2.5 means, I would say 5 by 2 hours in terms of hours. In the numerator it is kilometers, in denominator it is hours. So 24, 5, 24 is a 120 into 2. Therefore I would say 48 kmph, kilometers per hour. So 48 kilometers per hour is the speed. The scooterist complete the journey in how many hours? The scooterist actually complete the journey in 2.5 hours. Just we found it. Scooterist complete the journey in just 2.5 hours. How far from the start did the motorist meet the scooterist? So how far from the start means when they meet, they actually met at 10:30 a.m. and they have actually covered 80 kilometers. Both of them covered 80 kilometers and they met at 10:30. This graph was actually very simple to understand the line graph. Study the following graph and answer the question. Look at the graph carefully. Company X is represented by cross. Company Y is represented by dot. If the imports of the company X and what is given on X axis and Y axis or else a horizontal or vertical line. On horizontally on X axis it is given as 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 it is years. And in Y axis it is given as ratio of exports import. So exports by import is given. Now look at here. If the imports of the company X in 2017 were increased by 40%, what would be the ratio of exports to the increased imports? So 2007, the ratio of exports by imports. So 2007, it was for X 1.75. 1.75 you can write 1/3/4. 1.75 can be written as 1/3/4 or else 175/100, but I prefer 1/3/4 because 0.75 is 0.75. 0.75 is 3/4. 1/3/4 is 7/4. So it is 7 parts, it is 4 parts, but imports is increased by how much? The new imports became, this exports is 7 only, but imports increased by 40%. You just multiply it by 1.4. Why am I multiplying it with 1.4? Because it is increased by how much? It is increased by 40%. 7 ones are, I would say it is 0.2. If you remove that 0.2, it's actually 10/8, which is 5/4, which is in turn 1.25. So now the new ratio becomes 1.25 there. Okay, the next question in this. In 2005, the exports of the company X were double that of company Y in that year. In 2005, look at X and Y. So X and Y. 2005, I would write exports by imports. It is 1.75, I would take it as 7/4. I will take it as 7x and 4x. Exports and imports. Y is 0.75, which is 3/4, I would take it as 3y and 4y. Exports and imports in 2005, X and Y companies. And what he says? He says in 2005 the exports of company X were double that of Y. So he says 7x is equals to double of 3y, which is 6y. And he gives you imports of company X during that year is 180 crores. So he is giving you 4x is equals to 180 and is asking you what is imports of company Y during that is. So 4y he is asking you, right. First of all, what is y in terms of x? It is 7x by 6. So I will take it as 4 into 7x by 6. 4 into 7x by 6 means 7 by 6 of 4x I can say. So if you simplify it, it is 7 by 6 into 4x. What is 4x? 180. 6 ones are 6 30s are. So 7 30s are 210. So answer here is 210. This is how we look at the line graph. Simple here, you have to take the data from the given picture in terms of lines. So far we have seen the problems based on tabular graph and line graphs. In the next class we look at few more problems on line and then we'll go to bar graphs. So in all these graphs, if you observe, how do we interpret the data is important. You can represent the same data in terms of bar graph or else in terms of a table, but there are few cases where data is perfectly represented in terms of pie, data is perfectly represented in terms of a tabular graph. If there is more data and individually you have x-axis and y-axis, rather than representing five lines in a single x-axis and y plane, it is better to represent it on a table. If you only have two companies like company X and Y, just now we have seen, then it is better to represent it on line. Some case there is only single company or else there is a single entity, then you can simply represent it on a pie graph. Depending on the data, you can simply represent the data in suitable graph, but in fact you can represent the data in any graph that you want. All you have to know it how to interpret the data from those graphs. Thank you.